Good morning and welcome to the 2022 inaugural ceremony of President-elect Lutsky Klavinsky. We will now be going to live at Rotterdam Stadium in Picot City. The inauguration ceremony is taking hold in Rotterdam Stadium with crowds of people witnessing a historic event for all of Landova. President-elect Lutsky Klavinsky and Vice President-elect Nelson G. Jefferson will take their oath at exactly noon. An inauguration ceremony will also be held among the newly elected 4th Congress in the venue.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the elected President and Vice President of the Republic of Landova. Good day, Mr. Jefferson. Please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nelson G. Jefferson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Landova,
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Landova,
that I will faithfully execute and fulfill the duties of the office of Vice President and the office of Senate President,
that I will faithfully execute and fulfill the duties of the office of Vice President and the office of Senate President.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President. And now we move forward to the elected president. Please welcome President-elect Lutsky Klavinsky. Mr. Klavinsky, good day to you. Please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Lutsky Klavinsky,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of Landova,
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of Landova,
and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of Landova, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the Republic of Landova,
the Constitution of the Republic of Landova.
Congratulations, Mr. President. We now move on to the inauguration of the 4th Landova Congress.
By virtue of the authority vested upon me by the Constitution, I hereby proclaim and inaugurate the 4th Landovian Congress, in which the Fusion Party will take the majority of both Senate and House of Representatives. So do affirm.
We now move on to the inaugural speech of the Honorable Lutsky Klavinsky, the President of the Republic of Landova.
Good afternoon to all. Good afternoon to all our elected officials, Mr. Vice President Nelson Jefferson, and to our newly elected 4th Congress with our elected House Speaker, Mr. Oliver T. Robinson. Let us thank all our people for these great and prosperous elections we have, and for our newly elected government. We adhere to our oath and must manifest what we have vowed, even though the ones we have with should be one we have been given remarks on. Let us have a moment of silence for all our fellow Ukrainians who have been affected by the ongoing tensions between them and Russia. Thank you very much for your solemn concern for our neighboring people. Our dear friends there, we cannot go on without them. We orderly condemn Russia's provoking actions against Ukraine. And this is unjustifiable for our people. Our foreign relations with the United States and the European Union have been prominent to our ongoing economic, social, and bilateral ties. We do state and express our sorrow and the good welfare of our neighboring people. As for our people, we cannot undermine our defensive forces in our country alone. Our armed forces have gone through a lot of military activities in the US. I wanted to make our armed forces stay. We should have built an airbase in our nation. But I don't want to prioritize our national defense for these kinds of matters. As me being the second president of this country, I am grateful for your trust in our governance. I oath to do my will and do my duty as the leading leader of this nation. And through my will for enabling a substantial amount of growth and prosperity of this nation. I promote to withhold my executive rights down to what we call a unitary system of government. Likewise in my presidency, I will reassurance good governance, a better prosperous government, progressing prosperity, justice, and unity. On behalf of my running mate Miss Kay Luda, who is not lucky enough to become the next vice president, she wanted to thank all people who voted and put in her the trust that you all gave to her. I may also want to thank my co-cabinet Vice President Nelson Jefferson for his success in the elections in being the third Vice President of this country. I look forward to having our cabinet meetings every now and then, Mr. Vice President. Likewise, our newly elected Fourth Congress will be administering the Senate and the House of Representatives. Vice President Jefferson will also be the President of the Senate. And the newly elected House Speaker, where our elected representatives have voted on last week, House Speaker Oliver Robinson. We want to thank Chief Justice Russell Elvin Keegan for administering the oath of office. Thank you, Mr. Keegan. You know, when I was on my pre-presidential trip to Slovenia, I have met with Slovenian President Borut Pah. We have pursued great ties between our nations. Take Slovenia as our close brother to our nation. Landova is committed to having strong bilateral relations with the Republic of Slovenia. With that, great news, both countries, Landova and Slovenia, have agreed to pass an agreement on the amendment to our immigration law, whereas international travel from both countries will be visa-free from 90 days of up to now 180 days. A good negotiation to make both countries profoundly have close relations. Now I would like to address our people for today's inaugural ceremony. I don't want to make this longer than possible because this is not a national presidential state address as we should be doing annually. Yet to say, I would like to address the people, the citizens of Landova, the Landovian people. My question to all of you watching and listening. What do the Landovian people want in our country? What do the Landovian people want to expect from their elected president, vice president, cabinet members, senators, representatives, mayors, and other government officials? Because I want to know your say as I have become the newly inaugurated president of this nation. It is not that we don't know what to do. It is what we want to know about our people, of what they wanted to do for us. We can have our side talks, suggestions, and opinions, but all in all it doesn't rule out who we are serving for. We need the cooperation of the people and not to ourselves. That's why my first executive order will be the implementation of an executive public relations officer or the executive communications officer. This is different from our executive secretary in our cabinet, for this will put out our citizens' say and enact their freedom of speech and expression. The whole system of this executive order will be introduced by my cabinet secretary and to Vice President Jefferson. Likewise, a lot of planning should be done. I can't state all of my plans in the office for this yet again because this is not a national presidential state address. Nonetheless, please look forward and support us in keeping this country progressing prosperity, unity, and justice. Landovians, please keep yourselves safe and healthy. Thank you very much.
And that was President Klavinsky's inaugural speech. Mr. Lutsky Klavinsky has now been inaugurated as the second president of the Republic of Landova. Mr. Nelson G. Jefferson has now also officially inaugurated the third vice president of the Republic of Landova. And Mr. Oliver Robinson, who was elected by the House of Representatives, has been inaugurated House Speaker of the House of Representatives. Whole cabinet will be heading to Shuttler Municipal Hall for the vote of the newly inaugurated 4th Congress on the referendum regarding the proposed two-door nuclear power plant later on. After that, by dusk, they will be heading back here to Rotterdam Stadium for the concert prepared by the owner and manager of the baseball stadium. And that was the 2022 inauguration ceremony here at Rotterdam Stadium, brought by the Orca News. This is Carson Elgers, reporting for Orca News. Good afternoon, everyone.